Well, welcome to another edition of the Digicel Sports Show right here on Islandstats.com. I'm your host, Earl Basin, and joining me yet again is Jason Juggling J. Ford. Jay, boy, the most powerful man in football.
Yes.
On our shores.
Yes. Huh. Well, you got to see him and talk to him.
Well, I did. So
that means you're the second most powerful man.
No. I'm way down the packing. I'm seeing him, man. If I hollered, you wouldn't even hear me. But also, we want to talk about football games coming up this weekend.
Yes.
Had the FA Cup draw on Tuesday.
Yes.
We also want to talk about the four motorsports, including powerboats, motocross, motorcycles, and karting, having an expo next week.
Yep.
Want to get to that as well. But first, let's get a message from our sponsor.
You may have heard Digicel is bringing the only true fiber-to-the-home network to Bermuda. But what does that mean? Fiber-to-the-home is the fastest and most reliable way to access the internet. And with Digicel's fiber internet, the fiber goes all the way into your house. It doesn't just stop at the street. That means you get consistently fast speeds you can rely on. Think of it as a brand new internet highway that goes all the way into your home or office, and you can be one of the first to enjoy it. Visit digicelbermuda.com/fiber to register your interest in Bermuda's only true fiber-to-the-home network.
Well, Gianni Infantino, FIFA president, made a whirlwind pit stop. Need to just change the tires and so forth, but he was here just over 12 hours yesterday. We got a chance to speak with him at a press conference at the National Sports Center yesterday. Let's get that press conference with the FIFA president, Bermuda Football Association president, Mark Wade, as well.
Good morning, everybody. As you can imagine, this has been a whirlwind visit. The president arrived at about 1:30 this morning, and then he will depart at about 2 o'clock this afternoon. But we're certainly grateful to have him visit Bermuda. You can imagine having 211 countries to visit, and Bermuda makes it on the list. That's fantastic. And in over 30 years, we haven't had a FIFA president visit Bermuda. So we've had a stop with the Premier, we've had a stop at the Barclay Institute, and we'll stop at Cedar Bridge to see some of our national team players. So it's exciting. But without further ado, certainly I'm not the star of the show here. I just want to introduce Gianni Infantino.
Thank you very much, Mark. Well, what can I say more if not that I'm extremely happy to be here in Bermuda today to visit this beautiful country, but also, of course, to visit these facilities, the sports center here. I'm a bit sad because it's a sports center. It should be a football center only. Since I'm the president of FIFA, it would be much better. But okay, we can live with that because it is so beautiful and it's important to have to do sport, whatever sport is, whatever sport you want to do. Better if you do football, but okay. We met this morning earlier the Premier, and I can testify and confirm that he's a great football fan, which is always good. And I can just again congratulate, that's what I did also in front of the Premier, the excellent work which is done by Mark and his team at the Bermuda Football Association for the development of the game worldwide. As FIFA president, I have 211 member associations, member countries, and in all of these, our mission is to develop football, is to bring joy and football to the people, and that's exactly what I can see here. Not only because you live in a beautiful place, but also because you have one passion, and this one passion is called football. Football is a magic game. It's a game that you play certainly with your feet, but most importantly with your heart. And this is what should always be at the key of what we do for all our boys, for all our girls in Bermuda, all over the world, for the boys, for the girls, and for those of us who remain boys and girls for their whole life, especially when they see a ball and they want to kick this ball. So some great work in terms of football development, some important projects ahead that we will work on together, FIFA and the Bermuda Football Association. I'm looking very, very much forward to our cooperation and certainly as well to coming back to this beautiful place. Thank you very much.
I don't know if anyone has any questions for any of us, really. Certainly, we'll be introducing Mr. Earl Basin from Islandstats.
Good morning.
You recently have talked with the executive about the development of football, women, and youth. Can you share what, on the European side, can you share what some of that was like as opposed to what you will find out in the Caribbean?
Well, differences are not that big actually. Of course, if you compare Bermuda with big football nations who have millions or even billions of inhabitants, as is the case in some countries, like China, who is now investing a lot in football as well, but even the historic countries, England, Germany, Italy, Spain, and so on and so forth. Of course, you cannot compare what is done there. But even in Europe, we can see that there are countries which are of a similar size as Bermuda, smaller countries. Iceland, to just give one example, the obvious example, obviously, these last few years, which is a country who has a little bit bigger than Bermuda, 300,000 people, but they qualified for the Euro and they performed quite well in the Euro, and now they qualified as well for the World Cup, kicking out a country like Turkey of 80 million inhabitants and finishing first in a group with Croatia, who is certainly one of the strongest European teams. So when it comes to the performance of the top level, of course there is work to be done, but there are possibilities because it starts from the grassroots and from the youth. And for this reason we were discussing about the situation in Bermuda in terms of football infrastructures, in terms of pitches, because what we need for the boys and girls to play football is mainly pitches, and then of course equipment and staff to be with them. Now the expertise is certainly here, the equipment we bring it, and for the infrastructure we work on together and also together with the government. So you will certainly see in the near future more beautiful football pitches in Bermuda, where the talent, boys and girls, can grow and prosper. And we will see. Next World Cup, maybe?
Maybe.
Maybe.
When you decided to become the president, what was your aim and focus in redeveloping or redesigning the whole structure of FIFA? Because it was a turmoil when you first took over.
It was a turmoil. I think that's quite a diplomatic way to put it.
Something like you were?
One could use other terms, indeed. But let's stick to turmoil for the moment, because anyway, the past is the past, and we have to make things obviously better than what happened in the past. And for me, it was very clear from the very beginning when I started even to be candidate to become FIFA president. The key was and is to bring football back to FIFA and FIFA back to football. I think that maybe it was a little bit forgotten what the main mission of FIFA was and should have been, which is to develop football and to organize football all over the world. We are a football organization. Our mission is to do exactly that, and we shouldn't, lose our heads in trying to do other things, which then end up in being maybe some dodgy affairs as well. We should focus on the football. We have to bring in the football legends, for example, to help us in spreading out this message. We have to invest, and it's one of the first steps that we put in place after my election, to increase significantly the funds available for investment in football development, in infrastructure, in courses. And as a matter of fact, we increased this amount from $400 million to $1.4 billion. So $1 billion more over the same period of time for which a budget was made. So we can already see now, I think, the concrete results of these investments, which is exactly what we have to do in terms of football development, but then in terms as well of the image and reputation of FIFA, which was the other key factor that we had to make much better through the reforms that we have put in place.
Bermuda's going to be participating in the Nations Cup this year, starting this year. How do you think that tournament is going to benefit smaller countries and their aspirations of not being qualified for the World Cup?
I think it's a great idea and a great tournament because, to improve, you need to compete. If you don't compete, you cannot become better. Now, to compete, you need to play matches, but you can play friendly matches. It's much better to play competitive matches. And it's much better to play competitive matches against competitors of more or less the same level, where there is something at stake in terms of the ranking, in terms of a promotion, a relegation, a possibility to win a tournament and create an engagement by the people. So all those who are now starting to play football or who are playing youth teams and so on, they have one, I would say, additional event, so to say, to look forward to, which is national team, where the whole country can, be proud and vibrate for the players. And for this reason, I welcome that opportunity certainly very much. And I'm sure the results will be seen very, very soon for Bermuda, but for the whole CONCACAF region. I can say this because, as you know, before becoming FIFA president, I was in UEFA, I was general secretary of UEFA, and that's exactly what we did in UEFA. We created competitions for boys and girls to play, to compete, and that's why they improve. Otherwise, there's no chance.
One of the things you talked about also before you became president was your wish to have the World Cup increased to 40 in this commission you mentioned.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess it's still roughly on a point for that, but you're pretty happy with that to improve the company.
No, I'm very happy. I was speaking about increasing to 40 from 32. We made even better. We increased it to 48 because actually the format with 48 works better than the format with 40, and we can make 8 more countries happy. The positive of it is that not only you involve many more countries, and today I think the quality of football worldwide is very high, so there is no risk of diluting the quality, but importantly as well, you can play a World Cup with 48 teams in exactly the same number of days as you play the World Cup with 32 teams. You can play it in exactly the same number of stadiums, 12 stadiums, as you play the World Cup today with 32 teams. The winner of this World Cup with 48 teams will have played 7 matches, which is exactly the same number of matches that the winner of the World Cup with 32 teams plays. So we have been able to find the right format, which doesn't increase the burden on the player, but boosts football worldwide much more, because there is nothing that boosts football more than participation in an event like the World Cup.
What about video technology in football? Do we have a right yet, or are we still far too? I think there are things like, which is annoying for a lot of people watching television, is the play of dive. How did we get that right? It's very prevalent in football.
Yes, we are currently testing video assistant refereeing, and we'll take a final decision at the beginning of March at the IFAB meeting, the International Football Association Board meeting. The tests so far, which we started 1 week after my election, actually, in March of 2 years ago, the tests so far have been very, very positive, and I believe, even though I was skeptical at the beginning, but I said to myself, well, if we don't try, how will we know? The tests are very positive, and it's true that today in 2018, anyone in the stands or at home, within a few seconds, with a simple look on his mobile phone, he will know whether the referee has committed a big mistake. The only one who doesn't know it is the referee himself. And not because he doesn't want to know it, but because we prohibit him from knowing it. Now, the referees have already an incredibly difficult job. If we can help them a little bit, and within a few seconds we can prevent them from making a big mistake, then this is what we should do, and we are working exactly on that.
You have the dual line technology, for example. You don't have the other areas of the game.
Correct. That's what we are working on, yeah. And I hope that on the 2nd of March we will approve it, so that in the World Cup we will not have only goal line technology, but also video assistant refereeing. Will not solve all the issues and all the discussions if I do this, or is it a foul, is it not a foul? I mean, he's a big guy. If I do this, he will not fall. But today in football, he would maybe make whatever, and the referee gives a simulation. It's hard to see, and there will always be interpretation questions for the referee to decide. But at least, if he scores a goal with his hand, or from an offside position of 2 meters, well, then we will know it, and we'll correct the decision.
Finally, how has your first year been in the presidency? How has it been?
Exciting. An exciting first year, a challenging first year as well, of course, but very exciting, and to see what football means to many parts of the world is something that I had not realized being in Europe and being in charge of the Champions League and all these great competitions. When you travel the world, when you see how the passion for football exists in many countries, some of which have nothing than football, I mean, it's just fantastic. So we need to work even harder, but it's great. Thank you.
Sure.
Oh, most definitely.
Yes.
This question's not for me. But yeah, I mean, most definitely. We strive to from an administrative perspective, strive for excellence, and we're now striving to get that excellence on the field of play where it matters. So we're grateful that both presidents came to visit us and demonstrate that they're a part of our team and we're a part of their team. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you.
You may have heard Digicel is bringing the only true fiber to the home network to Bermuda. But what does that mean? Fiber to the home is the fastest and most reliable way to access the internet. And with Digicel's fiber internet, the fiber goes all the way into your house. It doesn't just stop at the street. That means you get consistently fast speeds you can rely on. Think of it as a brand new internet highway that goes all the way into your home or office, and you can be one of the first to enjoy it. Visit digicelbermuda.com/fiber to register your interest in Bermuda's only true fiber to the home network.
Well, Jay, one of the things that the FIFA president talked about was improving pitches and items that we need to run football. I asked him about the differences between the bigger nations and the smaller nations, how we compete financially and globally, as far as getting matches. And his of the opinion, and listening to him, he's of the opinion that there's not much difference no matter what the size is. It's the opportunity, and that's what FIFA's looking to do, create opportunities to allow smaller nations like Bermuda the opportunity to play more games, and that's the only way that we're going to actually be able to compete down the road. The other thing that he mentioned, which raised a few eyebrows, was improving of the pitches here in Bermuda. And he alluded, I guess there's going to be some talks with some clubs very shortly about what FIFA could assist with as far as raising the standard of the fields in Bermuda.
Yeah, Earl, that's a double-barrel problem. And I say that because a lot of our football clubs also
play cricket.
Cricket clubs. So the field is, most of our fields are multi-purpose. You've heard that same scenario when it's cricket season to improve our fields and whatnot. But what's going to take, it's going to be a lot of man hours, a lot of resources, groundsmen and the likes. And we know just in cricket alone, there's a lack of caretakers. a lot of clubs do not have the finances.
And that's what I think the association and FIFA are looking to address.
So a lot of these clubs, and I'll give you a prime example, Earl. Obviously, you've been away to the UK to see a match. Let's go to Old Trafford. On TV, looks green, pristine.
Because they didn't use it on Saturdays.
And the minute the camera is off,
oh yeah, groundsmen are at work.
there are sprinklers on.
Pitchforks,
And
the hill,
pitchforks, the whole nine. As soon as the cameras come back on, the sprinklers go back down on the ground, and the guys with the pitchforks put the in their pocket. One, just take for instance, if it's a rainy day where normally grass gets ripped up, they can actually cut out probably half the field, go to the reserve field or the reserve pasture that they are curating at the time.
All right, roll it up, bring it in.
Roll it up and bring it in.
Lay it out.
Lay it
You
out.
won't even know the difference.
Wouldn't even know the difference. We don't really have that type of luxury here. And we honestly, some of the fields will look, in football season, you really won't start to see the, probably close, actually around about now. Early, I would say October, November, December is probably the best looking you'll see some of these fields. But come February, March, April, the goal mouth, the sidelines, the center circle, you're going to see some of these wear and tear. Because most of these fields, and we talked about, you said those fields in England, NBA played on
Weekends,
Saturdays or Sundays. But remember, our fields are not only played on, but trained on every level.
Well, the one mistake we keep making here in Bermuda, and I argued this for the longest while, is they cut it too low.
Yeah.
They cut it way too low. Football season, the grass should stand high. Take the top off of it, because when it does rain, you got something, the roots of something to grab onto. Once you start cutting it down to try and get the National Sports Center, because that's what they're all looking for, the National Sports Center surface. But
it becomes mud.
Yeah, because the National Sports Center surface is only played on
Saturday.
So you're not going to get that unless you let that grass stand up.
It has time.
And until we start remembering that, the surfaces are not going to get any better.
And the National Sports Center has the
manpower to keep up, and the machines, because they cut the grass in different ways to make sure that the field looks like it does on a daily basis. They do it. So,
and you just talking about it, some of the things to improve. You hear a lot of people talking about the technical side, and we used to hear that in cricket season too. When we see some type of technology being introduced into a local game, well, realistically, I don't see that because of the fact the pricing that it's going to take to make that happen. We talked about in cricket, it's going to take a vast amount of money to make it happen. But the easier thing to do is what you said, the facilities first.
Yeah, I mean, during yesterday's press conference, I was a bit worried about, well, not worried, but confused at some of the questions thrown out, such as technology and stuff like that. We should be asking the FIFA president, how can he help us? And technology is not on our cards right now. We're so far behind technology is.
Well, all I would say for those who did pose those questions and people who do pose those questions is do some background work yourself. And I guarantee the numbers that you will come up with, you're gonna first out how can we get money from FIFA? More money. Right. And I'm pretty sure there's gonna be a list of other things set a little
way before that.
So, but like I said, one of the easiest is to get the playing value. Now, what can happen as far as technology is concerned is you playing more. You're playing more quality football, which will lead to streaming. Other countries wanting to stream, which will come into TV rights. Now that could be money. A pocket where some extra cash flow will come in to help the standard.
That's a small step.
That's a small step
to making something look much better, presentable.
Yes,
to the masses.
And we say that because I've said it before when we talk about where would our standard be in televising our sports. I said, stop looking at ESPN and Fox.
Yeah.
Look at Sportsmax where they do the local football in Jamaica or the high school
Simple
stuff.
couple cameras, done.
That's
Yeah.
the stuff that
Because they start small.
that's where it starts. But just think about it. We're seeing it in Bermuda. So we should be trying to have our games be seen, cup match, the FA Cup final, these Dali finals be seen in other islands.
Yeah.
Let's start there first.
Yeah, without a doubt. Well, following the FA Cup draw on Tuesday,
I've been waiting to get
some
to this.
interesting matchups. Obviously, the mouth-watering one is Dandy Town PHC.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, those same two teams play on Sunday. Same venue.
Same venue.
So this week will be a mouth-watering appetizer for those, but the next round is not until February. But with PHC looking to get 5 trophies, they would want to take every opportunity they can to make sure they take advantage of situations. And they will not be looking to look past Dandytown this week for Dandytown in the FA Cup.
No way they will try. No way that will happen because of the fact that they've always had battles. Even when you take a few years ago when probably Dandytown had the upper hand on PAC. The tides changed just a bit, like it happens in every sport.
Yep.
It will change a bit. And if you remember, not too long ago, there was a comment from the player coach, saying, the league is definitely not over.
Right.
You know, so there is some fuel to that fire. But I'm pretty sure the guys down at Lane Stadium there, they're not even thinking that far ahead as far as the league being over, because what they're doing on a game-to-game basis, which changes. And I heard a couple interviews. I heard an interview even with Scott Morning. His feels it's been a pleasure.
Yeah.
Coaching these guys, because not just coaching the guys, but the culture that they have set down there is that we're taking this game, and they've been taught that from young.
Yeah.
So I don't see them looking past Dandytown. No way, no how. They have had the upper hand this year already, but you're going to get a fight around at St. George's Field.
Right.
Now, I would always, as a pundit, we would question, does that mean that Kwame has to play?
Yes.
you know what I'm saying? Are you it's there are some great matchups there, but like I said, this week they're going to meet each other. Personally, I believe this is going to be a very valuable week for the outcome of the league. Personally, I think PAC are probably about 3 victories away from really tight. And this will be one. And I say one because these are one of the teams that are trying to catch.
Right.
Right. So this will be a very important. And even if they drew, I don't think it's still a win for them because it's still a point.
Right.
With Dandytown, they've been inconsistent. So they will want to go this back stretch with some consistency.
Although the scoreline in the last round of the FA was 5-0 over Wolves,
but there was late.
We say it. 3 of those goals came in injury time.
Yeah, injury time.
So I think a little bit of that is underestimating your opponents. So you take them a little lightly when the rot sets in. They're struggling to play your style of football. Now, I don't expect them to have that same mentality this weekend because the competition is the current league leaders. So guys will do what they have to do to prepare themselves for the match. Whether or not it works, we'll see at 5 o'clock on Sunday.
You see?
Yeah. Another FA Cup matchup, another team chasing PHC, Robin Hood. They're going to travel to Wellington Oval. Now, a lot depends on how the rest of the league plays out between now and then.
Yes.
If Robin Hood find themselves in a position to win the league or to catch PHC, that game takes a little bit of sting out of it. Although, and you said it the last show, they want to win the FA. They want to win every game.
Yes.
But as we've talked about it before,
they have a problem with
numbers. Right. So I honestly believe St. George's will have a chance if Robin Hood are still with a chance of winning the league. If Robin Hood are out of that picture of possibly catching PHC, I don't give St. George's much of a chance. Only because Robin Hood's going to want to take something out of the season.
I respect your opinion.
Yeah.
Even though I fully disagree.
You disagree? Well, you know.
But it's your opinion.
Yeah.
And it's your opinion. And it's just way too much more talent. Just talent.
It was way too much talent.
It's
Some
just
of it, but
talent.
definitely.
It's just talent.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, no.
But the other interesting matchup is obviously there will be a first division team in the semifinal.
Well, that's all I was waiting for you to get to.
BAA are at home to the Lions.
And if you remember,
Paget beat BAA
Yeah.
at BAA.
At BAA.
But he only wants to beat them this season at BAA.
at BA.
Yeah.
So BA will be looking for some type of repay or revenge, whatever you
I
want to
think
call
right
it.
now things are running so well for Paget. Mind you, but we said it before, they are 1 or 2 injuries away from being
Well,
a balanced team.
Earl, I mentioned this before, but let's think about it. What's the date of this next round? February the
17th.
17th.
Cricket. Mighty cricket.
And we know.
Well, we're trying to get the squad, which should come out. Actually, it should come out, if not tomorrow, Monday or Tuesday. So we'll wait to see. And then, obviously,
If Deion Stoll is involved in that squad,
he will not be involved in the FA Cup.
which could play a vital.
Huge part in Paget advancing or not advancing. So we'll see. We'll see. Well, actually, let's look at this weekend's action. We already spoke about Dandy Town and PHC. Robin Hood will play Crossroads on Saturday night. So both Dandy Town and PHC would already know whether or not Robin Hood's got the 3 points or just managed to get a point or didn't get any at all. So PHC and Dandy Town would have a look in on Robin Hood and obviously Crossroads because they still have to play those 2 teams second half of the season, see if they've picked up any players, see, just different styles or whatever. But your thoughts on, or who you pick for that match?
I'm going to pick Robin Hood.
Okay.
Home team.
Yep. All right.
Based on that.
I'm going to take Robin Hood as well.
I think Crossroads will put up a fight. They are starting to get some type of roll on, per se.
Well, they lost 3-1
No, they
to
lost
Paget.
3-1, but before they 3-1 to Paget, let's go there. Before they 3-1 to
Right.
Paget. Because remember, they did come up with a shocker.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Yeah.
So let's keep that in mind. That they did come up with a shocker. I think with the Paget game, once again underestimating these guys.
Right.
Because the last time they played them, they were okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't on our standard.
Right.
But going back in the Premier, they've been okay. But yeah, based on the talent, once again, the talent that Robin Hood has, they should have an easy time. I'm looking at a score close to even like 3-1.
Okay. Let's jump to that Dandy Town PAC.
Yeah, I'm actually feeling maybe. I'm feeling like a draw, like a 2-2 draw, but I'm gonna probably go with 2-1 PHC.
I'm going to take your draw.
Yeah,
I'm going to take your
it
draw.
feels like it though. It does. It really does feel like it.
North Village Flanagan.
And I'll tell you, the only reason it feels like it, because I would think that would be the best thing for PHC, but they don't really play for draws.
No. No.
They're not. These group of kids, they don't really.
Yeah.
They know one way.
Forward.
They don't.
Right.
I mean, they could be scoreless at halftime and still end up with 4 or 5 goals in the second half.
Yeah.
And probably miss 4 more.
Yeah.
So and that happened against Social Club.
Yeah, all the goals came after 59 minutes.
Yeah.
1-4-0.
And miss many more.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
North Village Flanagans. Well, North Village.
Thank you. That's great. Thank you.
Cougars Social Club. Cougars.
Thank you.
Okay. Now,
This is the hard
Blazers,
This
Trojans,
is the hard
Lords in St. David's.
This is the hard one. Oh.
Well, you me go first?
Sure.
I'm definitely going to go with the Boulevard Blazers.
Yeah, I am. And for one reason.
Home team. Yeah. Yeah.
Nothing else.
Yeah.
There's nothing else that can convince me. I'm even feeling this one could be a draw.
But both teams are coming off losing to a first division team last week at home.
I ain't got confidence in neither. So I'm thinking it could be just a stalemate. Because no team's going to want to.
Well, I mean,
yeah.
You can't find words.
You can't see
words.
where I can.
Yeah.
But I'm just good with the home team like I normally do.
All right, let's jump to the first division. Wolves, Devonshire Colts.
This is tricky too. Oof.
I'm going to take Devonshire Colts.
In a close one.
Devonshire Colts?
Yeah, close.
Okay, all right.
I think Wolves would have confidence from the last couple of matches.
Yeah.
And even though Vince Minus is getting up there in age, but they do have some guys that can put the ball up. But it's with Wolves, like a lot of teams, which Wolves team shows up.
Yeah. I think they expended a lot of energy last week against Dennytown. So
And some of those little legs, whew.
Need some WD food. Okay, Wellington Oval. Hamilton Parish, BAA.
Next. We don't have to expend no time on this situation. I'm not even going to ask you who you're. Just next.
Yeah. Then we got Lords and St. David's before Boulevard and Somerset. St. David's and Rangers.
A nice rivalry, not only in football but also in cricket.
Yeah.
Both clubs are very close, even though they're miles apart. But in this game, it's Rangers.
Yeah. I would have to side with Rangers. They got things going their way right now. Paget Eagles at Southampton.
Another good rivalry for many years. And when I say rivalry, because sometimes I equate the rivalry with competitive games.
Right.
Over a long period of time.
Right.
Even though they were battling at the other end of the table for many years, but it was always a battle.
Right.
But I'm going to just give the edge on Paget just because the momentum they do have.
Okay. Island Rangers St. George's at Malabar.
Island Rangers will score, but not enough.
Okay. So I'm going to take,
Yeah. That's a quick one.
Yeah.
You may have heard Digicel is bringing the only true fiber to the home network to Bermuda. But what does that mean? Fiber to the home is the fastest and most reliable way to access the internet. And with Digicel's fiber internet, the fiber goes all the way into your house. It doesn't just stop at the street. That means you get consistently fast speeds you can rely on. Think of it as a brand new internet highway that goes all the way into your home or office, and you can be one of the first to enjoy it. Visit digicelbermuda.com/fiber to register your interest in Bermuda's only true fiber to the home network.
Well, Jay, the Commonwealth Games will take place in April. Got a chance to sit down with the chef de mission, Couture Horton Parent Chief, to get an update on how things are setting up on the Gold Coast. Let's get that interview. Couture, the chef of the Bermuda team for the upcoming Commonwealth Games. There's been a lot of preparation, a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. As the chef, you've been to the Gold Coast. How do you feel things are progressing for April?
Well, I think it's. I think the Gold Coast is going to be incredible. I had a chef de mission meeting in October. I went to the Gold Coast. I saw the venues, and they are right on track. So I'm excited. Also, the qualification deadline for Bermudian athletes is coming up. So that is the 22nd of January, and I know that everybody is hustling and bustling to try and make that their qualification standard by that time. So as of right now, we don't have anybody on Team Bermuda, but we have some qualifiers, some potential qualifiers. So hopefully we get a bunch.
Now that you've come back and you've had a chance to see the venue and everything, what are some of the things you're looking forward to at the games that will sort of excite the Bermuda athletes, whoever are selected on the team?
You know what? Truthfully, it's the Commonwealth Games. It speaks for itself. I want them to go out there and do amazing work. You know, I think that we tend to say, you know, little Bermuda, small Bermuda, but we've got people on this team who are multiple time Olympians. We've got world champion. I mean, there are people who could do some damage in the Gold Coast. So for me, I'm looking forward to some amazing performances. At the end of the day, yes, it's the Gold Coast of Australia, and there are kangaroos, koalas, and surfing, but we are there to win medals. We're there to make finals, and we're there to break Bermuda records. So,
What can one expect from the chef?
whatever they need. No, really. I mean, my expectation and the expectation of the Bermuda Olympic Association is that exactly what I said. That we are sending, hopefully, the best team that we can send, the most representative team, and I want them to do well. So what they can expect from me is for me to, I will stick to the wicket. I'll come with whatever it is that they need. But right now, it's about the athletes and their coaches meshing to get us some good performances.
Any concerns over there?
No. Really, I mean, the organizing committee they're on it. We've had communication from them since August of last year, so they have been, everything is underway. We've got a very extensive visa process that everybody on the long list had to undergo. So basically it's just paperwork right now, and the staff in the office is doing an amazing job. But no, I think it's going to be incredible. The facilities look great, the venue is amazing, and I'm looking forward to an amazing games.
Have you been there recently?
October for the meeting,
Okay.
chef meeting.
I've been to the Gold Coast.
So we actually went for, you know, they do a chef meeting ahead of time. So we did that. We did a tour of the venues and the village and talked
How many
about
spots
tech.
were available for Bermuda? Because I know they allocate a slot of total amount of athletes, and then they divvy it up. So how many
Right.
spots were available for Bermuda?
20.
20 in total?
20 in total.
Okay.
So it is, each country was allocated a number of spots that they could fill. We have several more than 20 on the long list,
Right.
obviously, because there are people vying for these spots. So if we have all 30 of them qualify, then the standards committee and the executive committee of the Bermuda Olympic Association,
Okay.
they have some decisions to make. And basically, we have some people who, you know, are brand spanking new, who are vying for those spots against some people who have a whole lot of experience. And right now, they're all on even ground. So.
What's the deadline for? Did you say what the deadline?
Yeah,
for qualification?
yeah,
It's very-
January 22nd.
And how many have reached the standard so far? You're saying how many have reached?
I can't tell you because I mean there are quite a few, but they are steadily coming in. The NSGBs are hard at work, steadily submitting information and qualification standards. Some of the sports we've set standards that they have to achieve over several performances. Some, depending on the nature of the sport, some of them they have to achieve a time or a score at one big international meet, things like that. Some at 2, some at 3. So
So just because you qualify doesn't mean you're going there.
that's correct. Qualification does not mean selection.
Yeah. No.
And also, it is our intention to send qualified athletes who will do well for Bermuda. So it does not mean that we will be filling all of those spots even.
Now, there was talk of a triathlon team, a 4-member team. Is that still in the consideration for Bermuda to send a team?
Absolutely, absolutely. If all 4 of them,
Flora, Thomas Smith, and Erica Hawley, I believe.
right, so right now there are 4 triathletes on the long list. And I mean, as I said, January 22nd is the qualification date. The BTA is hard at work submitting all of the information to support their qualification, but each athlete has to qualify in their own right, individually to get there. And then if all four do, then we get a team. And I mean, that'll be exciting. If all four of them get in, it'll be great.
Question about the availability of spots.
Mm-hmm.
If a country, how do they determine how many spots are available for you?
Well, a lot of it is population based.
Right.
And also depending on performance, I guess. They've allocated some past performances.
Right.
They've allocated some spots. So, but basically this was handed down to us by the Commonwealth Games Federation.
Right.
So they said, here are your spots. You can fill them or not. And that's that.
No. I understand that part, but is it a bit unfair that if you have 30 athletes that qualify and a country of a bigger nation that had, say, 180 spots allocated, but only fill 150, is it a bit of a disadvantage to a country that has quality athletes, but you have to take out 10 because you were only allocated X amount of spots?
Then I don't think that happens. When
But
I
the
think of,
opportunity.
when I think of England,
Yes.
England had a number of spots. I think it was 300 and something, right? They said that there are 1,400 people on their long list.
Right.
There are a lot of people who are not going.
Right.
1,100 not going, qualified or not. And I mean, we have. I think Jamaica has 130. They had over 300 on their long list, so they're sending half. They're leaving half of those people home.
Right.
It is what it is. It's the nature of the beast. And the reason they're doing that is that the standard of competition at the Commonwealth Games just gets better and better. It gets higher and higher, which is why we at the Olympic Association have to keep our standards high so that we're not sending athletes who are out of their depth. And you know what? I mean, I hate to say it doesn't come down to finances, but frankly, it's an expensive, long trip. We're not sending anybody on vacation. We're not doing it. So the people who we send, rest assured, they will be incredible ambassadors for Bermuda, not just in sport, but I mean, they will be representatives of this country in and out, role models and the whole 9 yards. So
Once the 22nd comes and goes and everybody has in the paperwork, when can we possibly see a team announced?
right. So that's always a tough time. We have the standards committee has a 2-week deliberation process. So we will go through all the information coming in from all the NSGBs and all of their long list athletes. And we will meet, deliberate, pick a team, hopefully, and then recommend that team to the executive committee. The executive committee meets the 20th of February, and the final team will be ratified by the General Assembly in their meeting on the 22nd of February.
So by the 24th, we should have an announcement.
You should have by the 23rd, really. I mean, the team will be selected and ratified by the 22nd of February.
Okay, so
But to be fair, they all are under the impression that they're going.
Right.
So all the athletes are preparing for the Commonwealth Games right now, and that's sort of the expectation.
So it's a list of 30, there's roughly 30 that's in consideration, and 20 will go, you're saying, maximum of 20?
Maximum of 20 will go. I am not saying 20 will go.
Okay. How many sports are represented? How many different types?
6.
Of sports? 6. And
Yeah.
Like track and field, cycling?
The people who have sent in long list competitors are, yes, track and field, triathlon, swimming, squash, gymnastics, and who am I missing? Triathlon, squash. I feel like I'm missing somebody.
Yeah, that's for the game.
Yeah.
it wasn't typing.
Cycling. Thank you.
Oh, we can have
Cycling.
Okay.
Sorry for leaving cycling out. Cycling.
Last but not least, yeah.
Yes.
All right. So the main thing is that we send a team that can be competitive and obviously
That's
be
right.
in contention for medals.
Medals,
Yeah,
final
yeah,
spots,
yeah,
personal
yeah.
best, absolutely. So no, we're not sending freebies. We're not sending. This is, and you know what? I keep trying to tell people when they ask, this really is not a developmental meet. This is not a meet that we are sending people for the opportunity to compete. Yes, it's an opportunity, of course it is, but our junior athletes will have to come correct. They're up against some of the best in the world. So as you said, you called a couple of names there. If Erica Hawley qualifies, she will be lining up next to Flora Duffy, who is right now the top triathlete on the planet.
She has picked herself, for example, her and Tyler Butterfield, without you committing who's going. I mean, it's fair to say that Flora will be good unless something happens.
Oh, absolutely.
In other words, there are some that are qualified who may not go, but Flora won't be one of them.
Flora has not told us that she does not want to go to the Gold Coast.
So that means already in pain.
Yeah. But again, if Erica has to qualify. If she doesn't, then there's no relay.
Erica has to qualify. Tyler has to qualify. Both Tylers have to qualify. Flora has to qualify. It is what it is. They all have to qualify. And the BTA has been an incredible bunch of ambassadors for these people and advocates for them. So they have set very stringent but very fair standards that the Bermuda Olympic Association will be upholding. And I mean, if those kids make that qualification time, rest assured they will do well at the Gold Coast.
My understanding was that the only one that hadn't qualified was Erica.
That's not so. For triathlon, we have 3. We expect them to meet a standard that was determined of within 5% of the winner's time over the course of 3 of their ITU certified meets. It's not that, so obviously Flora has been the winner at 3 or more. So obviously everybody else has to come within 5% of that time, all the women who are vying for those spots. So it's not that Erica has not qualified. We have received, we've received proof of several meets that could possibly be considered as her qualification meets. So I mean, the committee has to go over all of those. Anybody who was not the winner, we have to figure out if they've made 5% of that time. So that's basically what it boils down to.
So, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously, in some cases, nobody will be competing between now and the 22nd. We're just going to have to look at what times they've sent.
Well, for example, yeah,
There are people competing.
there are people competing. In fact, we've had to, we had an appeal to extend the qualifying time so that an athlete could go to a meet that would give her the chance to qualify. And I think that the standards committee was very gracious in extending the deadline for one athlete. And the reason we did that is to make sure that we have given ample opportunity to people to make the time.
How excited are you about your role as chef?
I'm so excited. I was an athlete. My first Commonwealth Games was in 2002 in Manchester, and I was fresh-faced and ready to go. And I hope that the athletes of today see that sports can be a career. It can be a lifelong opportunity to give back to the country. And it doesn't have to be through participation in the sport, but even just, being the face of Bermuda again has been, it's an awesome opportunity for me, and I'm glad to be part of it. Really glad to be part of it.
The call or the message that you would be the chef for Commonwealth, what were you more nervous about? Your first Commonwealth Games or having to lead a team?
Oh no, it's always this. I have absolutely no control over these performances. This falls on the back of these athletes, and all I can do is make sure that the chips are in the right order, and we'll have them fall as they may. But right now, I mean, I'm always nervous. I first of all, it was surreal to even get that call. It's
twice now. The question, straightforward yes from you. Or
Oh, absolutely. What an opportunity for, I mean, let's be honest. I sit around the table at the Olympic Association with an entire gamut of experience and charity. I mean, these people have given years, decades of their lives to sports. So to even be considered worthy of leading Team Bermuda in this capacity, I'm humbled, I'm honored, and I mean, as I said, my first Commonwealth Games, I was 19 years old at the 2002 Games in Manchester, and it's amazing to have come full circle. And really, I mean, I was shocked. I was shocked, I was surprised, and I'm just feeling very, very grateful. So I will do my best, and I'm hopeful that we create an environment where these athletes can pull out some amazing performances.
what other chef tasks responsibilities did you have? What other chef assignments did you have?
Yeah, so I was chef de mission at the Nanjing Youth Olympic Games, which right to date is my favorite. I mean, I think that was in Nanjing, China.
That was what year it came out?
2014. Yeah. And we took 7 young athletes to Nanjing, and I was probably equally as nervous. And I think that it's the difficulty with kids is you don't know what they've done, what they've seen, what kind of experience they've had. So basically, I sat them down and put a whole bunch of pressure on these kids. I said, look, we sent you to China. We're expecting you to do well. We want medals. We want finalists. And I mean, every single one of those kids either had a PB or made a final. And that was 7 kids, and that's amazing. And today, we're looking at 5 of those kids who are vying for spots on the Commonwealth Games team. So the cool thing about this is we're seeing right out of this entire mechanism, from Youth Olympic Games and Youth Commonwealth Games to big people, Commonwealth Games, Pan Am Games, and hopefully the Olympic Games. So
what other chef job did you have?
and the other one was assistant chef at the CAC Games under Donna Rayner.
From those experiences, what do you take into the Commonwealth Games? From the Nanjing and you was an officer.
Yeah, I was. I think, you know what? I think that I want athletes to know that the administration is working for them. I want them to know that we are 100% behind them. So what I'm taking from my previous experience is that I need to do everything that I can do to ensure that the conditions are perfect for them to pull out the performances of their lives. And the other thing, I mean, some of these athletes that we're taking are household names globally. I mean, they invoke fear in people from much larger countries. So what I want them to know, and I've seen that in both of those games, I want them to know that they are just as worthy of putting on that Speedo, of getting on that bike, as any of these people. So, yeah, that's it.
Call some names of people who are in contention that you
So-
mentioned household names.
Yeah, I mean, the 4 triathletes are in contention. We've got, on the long list for track and field, we've got Olympians Trey Houston and Tyrone Smith. We've got first ever Bermudian Front Street Miler, Dave Miners, winner. So he is there. Girls on the list, we've got young Sakari Famous, Tiara DeRosa, Tahira Butterfield. For swimming, we've got Jessie Washington and Maddie Moore. Cycling, very experienced Dominique Mayo, Nicole Mitchell, who's been to the Commonwealth Games before and the CAC Games. We've got 2 young gymnasts. And then squash, we've got Micah Franklin, Noah Brown. So, I mean, And these people, I mean, when I think of squash, they're top 200 in the world, which is amazing. So yeah, these are people who people know.
What would you know at parenting? You mentioned him?
I didn't, but yes, he's on the long list. He's one of the youth Olympians who are on the long list. Yeah. It's everybody you can think of. Like, I don't have to name names. All the superstars plus a lot of youth. So I mean, some of your people from Carifta who you know are on that list, vying for spots.
So now will be a first medal for you as well as chef commissioner.
Yeah. But I mean, we'd love to get some Commonwealth medals, and I really don't think it's outside of our reach. I don't.
It all comes together.
And I mean, if I can be frank about triathlon, I mean, yes, Flora Duffy is the one to beat. She's the household name, but I mean, this is Erica Hawley and Tyler Smith's domain. They do sprint triathlons. That's what they do. So I have no less of.
That's going to be, of course, the triathlon team for sure. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I have no less faith in the fact that if those kids are selected, they will do well than I do in Flora Duffy. I believe wholeheartedly that if they are selected to this team, that they will be in contention of doing very, very well for this country. Oh yeah, absolutely.
You may have heard Digicel is bringing the only true fiber to the home network to Bermuda. But what does that mean? Fiber to the home is the fastest and most reliable way to access the internet. And with Digicel's fiber internet, the fiber goes all the way into your house. It doesn't just stop at the street. That means you get consistently fast speeds you can rely on. Think of it as a brand new internet highway that goes all the way into your home or office, and you can be one of the first to enjoy it. Visit digicelbermuda.com/fiber to register your interest in Bermuda's only true fiber to the home network.
Well, folks, that's it from here at the Digicel Sports Show. I'm your host, Earl Basin, and for Juggler Jay, do enjoy your evening and good luck this weekend in your picks, man.
Yeah, you might need it.
Meet. Good night.